In the heart of medieval Paris, where the streets twist like narrow rivers and the great bells of Notre Dame Cathedral toll over the city, lived a man whose very appearance seemed a punishment from fate. His name was Quasimodo, the bell ringer of Notre Dame. He was deformed, hunchbacked, and nearly deaf from the constant ringing of the bells he so loved. The townspeople feared and mocked him, seeing only a monster, but beneath his twisted form beat a heart capable of immense unspoken love. Quasimodo was an orphan, raised within the cold stone walls of the cathedral by Archdeacon Claude Frollo. Frollo, a man of sharp intellect and stern faith, provided for the boy, yet his care was tangled with secrecy and a kind of detached cruelty. Quasimodo's world was confined to the spires and shadows of Notre Dame. He lived among the gargoyles and the bells, his silent companions, watching the vibrant life of Paris from above, a world that would never accept him. He was an invisible witness to the lives of people who saw him as less than human. One sun-drenched day during the Feast of Fools, Quasimodo's isolated existence was shattered by the arrival of Esmeralda. She was a young, beautiful Romani dancer, full of life and fire. She moved with a grace that seemed almost magical, her tambourine jingling as she danced for the crowds. Her spirit was as vibrant as her colorful clothes, a living flame in a gray, unforgiving world. But what truly set her apart was her heart. It was generous and innocent, capable of seeing the humanity in those whom society had cast aside. For Quasimodo, seeing Esmeralda for the first time was like discovering sunlight after a lifetime of shadows. He was mesmerized not just by her beauty, but by her kindness, her courage, and the compassion she showed to everyone, even to him, the outcast. In that moment, he fell hopelessly in love, a pure, selfless love that asked for nothing in return. But Esmeralda's light attracted more than just admiration. It also drew dangerous shadows. Her beauty captured the attention of Claude Frollo, and his fascination quickly curdled into a dark, suffocating obsession. Frollo, a man sworn to piety, found himself consumed by a desire that his rigid principles could not contain. When his advances were rejected, his desire twisted into a cruel and vengeful hatred. He wanted to possess her, and if he couldn't, he would see her destroyed. And then there was Captain Phoebus, a handsome soldier whose dashing uniform and charming smile captured Esmeralda's heart. She fell for him, believing his words of love, but Phoebus's heart was shallow and his promises were empty. He saw Esmeralda as a fleeting amusement, not a woman to be cherished and protected. One fateful night, Esmeralda's compassion led her into a devastating trap. Frollo, maddened by jealousy over her affection for Phoebus, ambushed the captain and framed Esmeralda for the crime. Suddenly, the city that once adored her turned against her with vicious speed. She was accused of witchcraft and attempted murder, her vibrant spirit now seen as a sign of demonic influence. The fickle crowds that once cheered her now screamed for her execution. As she stood on the public square, condemned to die, Quasimodo watched from above, his heart breaking, despite the jeers and hatred he had always endured. From the crowd, he could not stand by and watch the one person who had ever shown him kindness be destroyed. In a breathtaking act of courage, he swung down on a rope from the cathedral, snatched Esmeralda from the guards, and carried her back into the towering church, his powerful voice roaring over the stunned crowd. Sanctuary! Sanctuary! Within the hallowed walls of Notre Dame, Esmeralda was safe, at least for a time. Quasimodo cared for her with a tenderness she had never known. He brought her food and bedding and watched over her while she slept. In this shared solitude, a fragile, beautiful friendship began to form. Esmeralda started to see past his frightening exterior to the gentle, loyal soul within. She saw the man, not the monster. For a brief period, they found a small paradise within the stone fortress, a haven from a world that had grown cruel and unjust. But the shadows of fate were relentless. Frollo's obsession had not waned. It had only grown more desperate. He could not tolerate Esmeralda's safety, nor her growing bond with Quasimodo. He devised a wicked plan, tricking the city's vagrants into attacking the cathedral to rescue Esmeralda, which in turn would give the king's soldiers a pretext to revoke her sanctuary and seize her. The plan worked amid the chaos of the attack. Frollo abducted Esmeralda, offering her one final horrifying choice: be his or hang. When she refused him one last time, her fate was sealed. Quasimodo's pure, selfless love, which had moved a mountain of stone to save her, could not shield her from the depths of human cruelty and injustice. In a final, heartbreaking scene, Esmeralda was led to the gallows. From the heights of Notre Dame, Quasimodo watched in utter agony as the life of the woman he loved was extinguished. Crushed by a grief so profound it bordered on madness, he turned his despair into a final act of vengeance. He found Frollo on the parapet, gloating at the horrific spectacle below. In a surge of rage and sorrow, Quasimodo hurled his former master from the bell tower, sending him plummeting to his death on the cobblestones far below. But even in this moment of triumph over the man who had caused so much suffering, Quasimodo found no joy. His beloved Esmeralda was gone. The world was now an empty, silent place, and he was once again utterly alone, left with only the echoes of a love that had briefly illuminated his dark life. After her death, Quasimodo vanished. From Paris, no one ever saw the bell ringer of Notre Dame again. His life became a testament to love without expectation, sacrifice without reward, and the tragic indifference of society. Years later, when a mass grave was opened, two skeletons were discovered entwined in a final, inseparable embrace. One was the delicate frame of a woman, the other a misshapen skeleton curled protectively around her. When they tried to separate them, the bones crumbled to dust. The legend of the hunchback and the dancer was born a whispered tale of a pure heart that suffered the most. Victor Hugo's timeless story is not merely a tale of lost love. It's a powerful exploration of human cruelty, the stunning beauty of selfless devotion, and the enduring power of compassion amid the towering spires and echoing bells of Notre Dame. The story of Quasimodo and Esmeralda lingers, an eternal echo of sorrow and hope. A portrait of hearts both twisted and tender, and of lives forever marked by fate and the choices of those around them. Thank you so much for watching. If this story moved you, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more tales from history and literature. See you next time.